So my name is Matthew, Florida. You don't know, I am Dan, Florida's son, and there's a joke in there somewhere, but I just don't have it in me to find it tonight. I want to preface what I have planned for tonight with this idea that love is more than a feeling; it's a choice. We always, talk about how this trip is planned over February 14th, the day about love, red hearts, candy-shaped hearts. But then that day ends and February 15th hits, and that day is very important to me because it's the day that my adoption was finalized. And it's very evident to me that, like I said, love is more than a feeling, it's a choice. So it's one thing to, maybe not like something, someone, but we are called to love and to choose it even if we don't feel it, whether that's God, ourselves, other people. So choose love this week. Choose to love each other, people on the mountain. And I just want to say, Josh, I love you.
I love you too, man.
So Preston the other night mentioned Genesis and how God made us in their image. So I want to start off with that. Genesis 1:26 and 27 says, Then God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created him. So I told Tanner this week that he was going to experience a room full of grown men turn into a room full of grown babies. Every man in here is going to shed a tear or feel an emotion that we have no doubt spent countless years putting walls up to avoid. Man. But who gave us these emotions? Sad, anger, hurt, fear, lonely, glad. And then later on, we learn shame when someone hurts our self-worth. We learn guilt when we lie about having a snack before dinner time. So the theme this week is making things new, and I want to ask you all and call you all to examine yourselves and ask, am I born again? Am I a baby? Not in the sense that you don't hold intellect, but in the sense that you're closer to the emotions that you had when you were born. See, when you were born, you reached out, you grasped because you were fearful, you were alone, you cried because of the same reasons. Each one of these emotions has two roads that you can go down. Impairments, which lead to negative end results, and gifts, or other needs that lead to gifts. When we live our lives in impairments, we misuse or don't use at all the gifts that God has given us and the emotions that he's given us. So, for example, the impairment of fear is anxiety. And I want to read you all Matthew 25:14 through 30, which is the parable of the talents. For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. He who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also, who had 2 talents, came forward, saying, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here I have made 2 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also who had received the 1 talent came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours. But his master answered him, You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who is not, even what he has will be taken away, and cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So we see that the one who is giving the 1 talent said that he was afraid. But we know that fear is a good emotion. So when I read that, I read he was anxious. He was worried. And more often than not, I find myself reading myself as that man, acting in anxiety, leading to those negative end results. But then you look at the other 2. They clearly sought after guidance and security. They got more talents in the result of it. And what came from that was the gifts of, no doubt, of faith and wisdom. So I want to ask you guys, or not ask, sorry, I want to tell you guys, whether it's time, money, effort, emotions, I call you to be born again or act on the fact that you already have been. And take care of the needs of your emotions and accept the gifts of God. And that's all I got for you.
Yeah.